Welcome back to the pregame show on 92.7 WMAY. Our coverage of Glenwood Titan football, joined now by Glenwood Titans head football coach David Hay. And Coach, first week of the season, but it was a actual kind of maybe typical offseason for once. It's been a while since you had one of those.
Yeah, it feels like it took us a really long time to get here. A regular long offseason, a good 5 weeks we did in the summer, pretty darn straight, and then 3 weeks in the preseason. So yeah, it's back to normal, It felt a little long because we hadn't done it.
You have a lot of seniors on this year's team. When you have that number of seniors, how much easier is it to maybe get through stuff, some of those rudimentary things in the summer, to kind of get to the more nuts and bolts of it?
Yeah, you're able to move faster, and there's no question. And your coordinators, they have a process they want to go through about how they install things. And it's just easier on everybody when they're able to install things at a regular pace rather than having to backtrack and say, okay, we didn't get that yet. And so we were able to do that with the veteran squad that we have.
You got a second-year starting quarterback in Jack Knutson. How much does that help as well when you would have a guy that understands the offense and can actually be a coach on the field?
Yeah, of all the places on the field, that's the one where you see that most difference. I'd say second might be that a middle linebacker that's calling your defense. Those two signal callers. Brock Rogers is ours, and he's back, and he also does a great job of running our defense, not only in making calls but in running the way they're going to play. He sets the tempo, and he's the quarterback of that defense.
We talk about the quarterback of the offense, Knutson. He has a lot of weapons coming back too. Speed so important in the evolution of the game. Talk about some of those guys you have on the outside and the speed that you can cause some problems to the other team's defense.
Yeah, all those guys we got in that spread can run. You got Tyjon Randall, you got Galashki Blaze in the backfield. Miles Stapleton can run. He's also a big body. Logan Tomlinson's out there on the edge at about 6'2", and then Gavin Simmons, a sophomore, only sophomore we're playing.
Oh, wow.
He can flat cook.
But those guys can only do so much if they're not being protected by the big guys up front. Talk about that unit anchored by Alex Hamrick.
Yeah, Alex Hamrick and Tyler Montgomery are our two senior starters up there, and our captains on our team. They're returning starters, and they're running that thing. The other guys are younger. They're going to get out there in their first varsity game and their offensive line experience. Mark Helm is our left tackle. He played all year last year, so there's experience there. But the other two guys, I'm sure, will be turning to Tyler and to Alex and to Mark and say, hey, are we doing this right? I hope they're going to do a great job leading that group.
I overheard you in another interview you did. We talk about the evolution of the game and how much speed is. How over the years, guys who would be linebackers are now linemen, and guys who are DBs are now middle linebackers. So talk about speed on the defensive side of the ball. We talk a lot about offense, but speed on the defensive side.
I think it's a couple things. First of all, the passing game in high school football, from when I started, is night and day.
Yeah.
All those 7-on-7s and all the work they do, and the schemes are way more complicated than they were in 1994. And they can throw the ball, so you need speed in that pass rush. Then it's spread out, especially in our league. There's other leagues where it's not so much, but in our league it's spread out, and defenders end up in one-on-one situations a lot. It's almost like basketball. Like you're playing man-to-man with everybody, and so everybody's got to be able to run, and everybody has to be able to move. The big old heavy guy in the middle of the offense is never going to catch anybody, so everybody on our defense has to be able to run.
You're going to be tested right away. Your week one opponent, Jacksonville. You talk about multiple-year starters, 3-year starter Elijah Owens at quarterback. As a defense, as a coordinator, how do you combat that guy who's kind of seen everything?
They're going to give them different looks. They're going to, and it's week one, so
True.
In terms of that, they haven't really scouted us, and we haven't scouted them either.
True.
So he's going to get different looks. You're going to line up differently. You're going to bring pressure from different places. Really, tomorrow is going to be about tackling their guys. It's going to be tackling their guys in space. We do that consistently. I guarantee you, we'll have success.
Home opener always, kids are going to be jacked up for week one anyway, but at home, how do you make sure they harness all that intensity in the right way?
Well, we've run our pregame 3 times now already. We did it practicing for Meet the Titans. We did it at Meet the Titans, and we did it in pregame prepping for this game. So you try to take all the questions out of it. I don't want them thinking about those things. I don't want them thinking a whole lot. I think I want them just acting like robots, And so that excitement, that won't be as big a problem if you're just doing things you're not thinking.
Coach, always appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. We're so looking forward to another season of Glenwood Titan football here on WMAY, and best of luck against Jacksonville.
Good to be back. Thanks, Mike.